Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. How are you today? So today I want to talk to you a little bit of, I was watching some YouTube videos this morning and I was watching Biden address the UN and Zelensky sitting in the audience there, and he was saying that, oh yeah, all countries want to stop this war. You know, that just set me off. All countries want to stop this war. What a bunch of BS. Biden could stop that war tomorrow if he wanted to, but this is something that's been brewing. This Ukraine-Russian war has been brewing for years and years, since 2014, when they ousted Yanukovych. He was the president or president, premier, or whatever you want to call him, of Ukraine, and they ousted him because he was a Russian-friendly leader. And he didn't want anything to do with the UN and anything. So anyway, and it's proven, and if you look into history, US had a hand in ousting Yanukovych back in 2014. There was a coup of the government, and that's basically when the Ukraine war started back in 2014. But then it's just been simmering for a long time, and the US keeps on pushing and pushing and pushing. And so finally, Putin snapped, and he invaded Ukraine, but it was not unprovoked. And he tried many things there. He proposed something back in November 2021, a couple of months before the invasion, and the UN flatly denied it. Well, the USA flatly denied it. They didn't want to talk peace. They didn't want to try to make an agreement where the UN wasn't going to get pushed onto the Russian border there. So then Ukraine finally snapped in February 2022, and that's when this war started. But then this morning I was watching a UN speech and Biden talking, and he goes, oh yeah, all the countries want to stop this war. Well, it's not true. It's not true. The US has been pushing for this war since before it started, 9 years before it started, and even longer than that. If you go back in history, one guy to look up on YouTube is Jeffrey Sachs. He's a professor in the United States, and he's been an economic advisor to many countries around Poland, Ukraine, many countries in Europe and stuff like that, and he's advised. And then when he went to the government, the USA government. He's a USA citizen, and he went to the White House and he talked to them and said, look, war could be avoided if you guys just did this, just give them a little bit of breathing space. And they flatly just told him, no, just leave, get out of here. So, and then the war started. But there's just so many things that just frustrate me. And then you see on the news that they're interviewing Donald Trump, and he said, I could stop that war in 24 hours. And it's probably true. And there is a good chance that Trump might be reelected as president in 2024 or whenever the hell the next election is. And he said, and people asked Trump, well, who do you want to win the war? And the right answer is, for him, he doesn't care who wins the war. He just wants people to stop dying. And he said that if he was president, he would stop the war right away. And he could. All you got to do is shut the tap off to Ukraine. All the billions and billions of dollars that gets sent to Ukraine, and the people, the only people the only people making money off this is the USA war machine, and there's reports, oh, now we got to start making more weapons, more guns, more of this, more of that, and they're just making money. The people in the States are the war machine, whoever makes all these weapons and tanks and planes and tanks and everything like that. They're just making more money, and they're sending it off to Ukraine. And Ukraine, oh, I feel so sorry for Ukraine. They're being led by a little puppet, and he's Joe Biden's puppet. But Joe Biden, he's dropped his puppet a couple of times, You know, he thought he was going to get invited into NATO a few months ago, whenever the hell that was. And Zelensky went to that meeting, and all the NATO got together, and he thought he was going to get accepted into NATO, but surprise, he never got invited into NATO, because if they invited him into NATO, it'd be the start of World War III. That would mean all countries have to go into Ukraine and help Ukraine because they're part of NATO. So, you know, Biden dropped his little puppet there, but he's getting more angry, and his country is just getting decimated, and his people are dying. And I don't know who you want to believe, but I've also heard stories of the corruption in the Ukraine machine, the armies and everything like that. There, like Zelensky, he fired his Ministry of War, or whatever you want to call them there. There's corruption going on there. Where are all these billions and billions of dollars going to? And they're not all going to fight the war. People are lining their pockets, and it's just getting absolutely ridiculous. And why is because the USA, they're trying to 23 billion or 32 billion. It's crazy. They're trying to get another multi-billion-dollar package to send off to Ukraine so they could win the war and beat that big bad Russia. Well, that's never going to happen. You know, sooner or later, the Ukrainians are going to run out of people to fight the war, unless they start sending grandma and grandpa out there to start fighting for them. Their wives and their children out there to fight for them. There is nobody there. Soon there's not going to be anybody left. And Russia, you're not going to stop them. And if Putin gets pushed hard enough, he's not going to back out of a corner. He's not. And he is determined not to lose this war. And a little bit of Russian history. They've been invaded by countries before in their past. There's a few times that Russia's been invaded. And so that's why they're so headstrong about not losing any ground, more ground, to their country. But U.S. just wants to, there's like a 1,500 to a 2,000 kilometer border between Russia and Ukraine, and U.S. wants to be them part of UN, and so that U.S. can set up military bases all around them. They've already got Russia surrounded by, you know, in the Black Sea. Most of that's UN controlled, or NATO controlled, or whatever you want to call them. They're all the same little Boy Scout group. But it just infuriates me to keep listening to this on the news. And they got the people brainwashed so bad. Well, most of them, there's other reports of people in Russia or in USA now that says a lot of the US people are just sick of it. You know, how much more tax dollars can they keep spending to fight this ridiculous war? So it's got to come to an end soon, and Biden could do that tomorrow or very soon if he just opened up conversation. You know, if you Google how many countries has USA invaded, well, it's 84 countries USA is invaded. Now, USA did not invade Ukraine, but Ukraine is fighting the war for USA. If it wasn't for the USA, there wouldn't be any war. So they just keep on sending money over there. But 84 countries the USA has invaded. And how many of them have been in failure, have been for nothing, and they turn around and they walk, like Afghanistan's a perfect example. You know, after how many years there, and after how many billions of dollars they spent there, after how many thousands of people had died, you know, and they walk away from Afghanistan, and within days, the Taliban took it all back, and it was all for nothing. And, you know, who has USA actually helped? You know, they're in Africa quite a bit. They got military bases all over the world. And you know, who have they actually helped? They're there for their own greed. They're there for money. They're, you know, if in Africa there's a lot of raw, rare earth material that USA needs, so that's why they're there. They're trying to get their hands on there, but are they actually there helping the people? No, they're there building military bases, protecting what they have. Now, are they building roads? Are they building schools? Are they building bridges, hospitals? No, they're not. Who has the USA actually helped? Oh, I get so enraged when I even think about this. And another thing about USA is they're one of the safest countries. No. I was going to say they're one of the safest countries in the world. They're one of the, oh, how do I put this? They're not in danger of being invaded by any other country because they got Canada on the top of them and Mexico around there. So on USA borders, there is no other, they're not hostile countries. You know, they got USA or Canada and Mexico on each side of the border, so they're not in danger of being invaded by anybody. But then they say, I watched the video, oh, USA is a superpower. USA is so powerful, and one of their reasons in that video was, and they said they're not in danger. You know, they're not in danger of being invaded. But in there it says, oh, we got like 800 military bases around the world, and to protect themselves against their enemies. So they're out searching for enemies. Does it make any sense? You know, and they spend they got just about $1 trillion a year budget on the military to run all these bases and go around and push each other around. You know, I don't know, but it's just, USA is trying to bully themselves. They're only 4.2% of the world, but they think they need to rule the world. And since 1947, since the end of World War II, they have basically help's a hard word to say because they really haven't helped the world, but they took over dominance of the monetary system because they can just keep printing money. And mind you, they do, I guess, there is a lot of business in USA. That 4% of the world, they do a lot of business in USA and technologically and stuff like that there, but they're trying to stop technologies being exported to other countries so they can hinder those countries' growth. You know, and every country's aspiration is to make their country better for their citizens. You know, that every country in the world wants this, but the USA is afraid of losing their #1 spot. They've been running their own little empire for the last, 70 years, 60, I don't know, since World War II, however many years ago that is, 47, 50, so 75 years, somewhere around there. They've been England used to be the empire that ruled, and then after World War II, the USA they started their little empire. But that empire is slowly imploding. Their country, oh my God, just some of the statistics about USA, and you can look it up on Google. You know, they got if you Google how many homeless people are there in USA, it'll say about 580,000 homeless people. And in the warmer climates, there's people just lining the streets. It's making it unsafe. It's bringing their property values down. 27 million people in USA have no medical insurance at all. And but there's more guns in USA than there is people. And in 1 year alone, just in the last year or two, 26,000 people were murdered, and 20,000 of them people were murdered by a gun. So The only way USA feels safe is they go to bed and they cut their gun underneath their pillow and hope like hell nobody comes to see them. You know, it's not. I wish just USA would concentrate on USA and spend all that trillions and billions of dollars that they're importing otherwhere to get people to fight. Why don't they just concentrate on, you know, on themselves and helping their own people and building high-speed trains, which they've been trying to do for years and failed. They can't do it. There's just so many things about USA that I would be scared to live there. I heard an American talking to a foreigner there the other day, and they were asking how about USA, and he was actually in China, and he goes, yeah, I think USA is better than China, but he thinks, and that he was telling that same person, but he thinks China is safer. And if you watch my channel before, you'll be surprised I haven't really brought China up too much this time, because this is more about America for this video here, and how mismanaged they are, how misled they are, and how they mislead the media on thinking that everywhere is bad in the world and they have to protect the world from the boogeyman. You know, it doesn't make any sense to what they're doing. You know, they just got to stop, but they're not going to stop unless Trump gets voted in. And Trump, you know, he might stop the war in Russia tomorrow, but Trump's, you know, he's not an angel. You know, he's a pretty racist guy. You know, when the coronavirus happened and he was blaming it on China, and he was not nice to China. He's a kind of a racist, the things he said. But you know, that's not this video. It's but I believe that he would stop the war if he was elected president. So I could ramble on here. I'm just so on fire over this subject. So, but after seeing Biden today on a YouTube video addressing the UN, saying that, oh, all countries want to stop this war in Russia. Is there any? I don't know. I'm going to stop here now, because there's so many things about this. I think I got most of my points out that I wanted to, I think. But later on I'll probably think of something that I probably should have said. But, you know, I guess who has America really helped? And around the world, what countries has America really helped? And who is going to save the world from America? you know, is there ever an end to this? You know, who's going to save the world from America? I guess that's the best way of closing it. Maybe that's the title of my show. Who's going to save the world from America? They can't even save themselves. Their homelessness and their murders and the crime. They got kids running into stores and just wiping out the stores and stealing everything. You know, it's just absolutely crazy. So anyway, yeah, who's going to save the world from America? I guess that's it. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. That's it, I guess. It's all about all I got to say. I could go on forever, but Zygen, see you later. Bye for now.